I'm back again with some more combos. The last combo video I did had large things, and now here in this video I'm going to show you some larger things. So I'll start with this one. This is a chain link lanyard, and I have this in the larger things category because it has 6 links. Mine typically have 5, but the original design calls for 4. But I cut my strands a little bit longer than I should have, so I made a long one. I'm sure someone will buy this. And I gave it a smaller key ring, so if someone puts this on their keys, it's not this big thing that's hanging down too low. And I used black and a hollow gold. And you saw this hollow gold in my pineapple stitch video that I did. But it's much cooler here in this lanyard, I think. Maybe I should have made another pineapple stitch with black instead of white on my own. I used white because it's more visible and you can see what you're doing easier. And I think I made the loops a little too big for this one. I'm pretty sure this one has like 21 stitches instead of the 19. So there's that, but it doesn't really matter. The loops are bigger, as you can see. That first starting loop is always the smallest. You can just push on it to make it more round. And I just did some teeny weeny little tassels on the end because this is such a long project. I have another chain link lanyard. This one is also 6 loops instead of 5, or 6 links instead of 5, and I put a normal sized key ring on it. And as you can see, this one is made out of completely transparent string. And this was kind of hard to work with at first because it was kind of hard to see the stitches. But what I like to do is I like to hold it up to light, like have it up at different angles, and you can see the stitches more. Like the light is shining here and you can see the loops more. And this one I never thought I'd be able to finish it because it's such a interesting thing where all the strands are clear, and that makes things a little bit harder to see. This keychain has the regular 19 stitches for each link. So the loops are smaller, and some look more flat than others. So that makes them look smaller as well. But these are all the same size as each other, and some stitches are looser than others, and that can also change the size of a lanyard as well. And I gave it some teeny weeny little tassels once again because it's a longer project. Now let's get into some of the fatter things. I have a 5x1 wall here, and this one has some cool colors. I use mostly clear. I have 3 clear short pieces and 1 clear yellow and 1 clear blue, and then I have 1 clear long piece. And for this is just a regular wave, just the 3 twisted stitches and a straight stitch, 3 twisted, 1 straight. And this is beautiful. I use this color combo a lot when making Rainbow Loom as well. And I gave it some short tassels because it's a longer project. And I have a big key ring on because this is a fatter project, and I wanted to get each one of those loops from the short pieces on the ring. I have another 5x1 wall, and this one's fucking beautiful. I have 3 short pieces that are the blue tie-dye, sparkly tie-dye, and I have 2 whites, and I have 1 long hollow sparkly purple for the long piece. And this one, I really love this. I love putting like colorful like strands with just white or just black because it makes the color pop more, and the black or the white can really shine in its own way. It's like, oh, it gives the lanyard contrast, and this is a good tip when making art as well. And this one, a big key ring again because I wanted each one of those short loops on it. And for this one, I actually nearly had to toss this one out or just make it short because you can't see it because I've tucked it in nicely, but I actually broke one of the strands, one of the white strands. I was pulling one of the strands tight, and some strands were looser than others, and one of the loose ones was one of the whites. And I think around here, I can't tell if it's this one or this one, because like I said, I tucked it in. But somewhere around here, I was making stitches and one of the white strands snapped. And I was like, oh. I was panicking for like a solid like 20 seconds. And what I did was I took my super glue and I glued the two pieces together. I glued the strand back together and I waited for it to dry. Sorry, I knocked the camera over. When I stuck the two ends of the white strand together again, they stuck together immediately when I put the glue on, but I had to give it a few minutes to dry. And it worked. And even when making that stitch again, I was very, very careful to make sure that I didn't pull on it too tight and just snap the strand all over again. And I don't have that bottle of super glue anymore because it dried up somehow.
I was wanting to use the brush to dry something to fix my nails, because my nails were cracked. I don't know if you can tell, but in my previous videos, my most recent ones, my nails on the middle finger specifically were cracking more.
And you can see that now. I lost this one yesterday and I lost this one today. And even this one I kind of cracked a little bit of it today, so it's a bit shorter. My nails are falling the hell apart.
So I was using the super glue for some reason, and I got a little water on the brush. I was trying to wash the glue off of it, and I ended up, like, when you put water on super glue immediately turns like chunky. And so I cleaned the brush off, I got all the dried glue off of it, and I put it away, and I sealed the glue bottle tight. But somehow when I went back the next day, the brush had completely crumpled up in a bunch of glue. I could not pull it out, and I could not pull it completely out, and then the next day I couldn't pull it out at all. So I had to throw it away and order a new one.
So yeah, that's it for this lanyard. It's beautiful. I have another 5x1 wall, and I cut the long strands a little bit too long for this. I'm still working out what measurements are acceptable depending on which string I use, because these stitches are clearly tighter than some other ones with different strands. So I used a tri-colored lace called trace lace, and I used two yellows in the middle because purple and yellow go good together, especially a clear neon-esque yellow like this. And you can see this trace lace, one side it's clear purple, middle it's white, one side it's clear blue. So not only does it have three colors, but two of the colors are clear. And you've seen it before with my previous wall lanyards with the toothpaste lace, I like to call it, the neon orange, white, and turquoise, that whenever you put a clear strand in front of it, it picks up the color of the trace lace, so it makes it look different. And that's the same thing that's happening here. So here you see the neon yellow. It looks like this. It's kind of warm, and on this side it looks green because the blue is more present on this side and the purple is more present on this side. And the way you want to achieve that is you want to take, whenever you're starting the lanyard, whatever colors are on one side, you want them to be like that with all your other strands. Like for example here, you see that for each of these striped colors, I have the blue on the left and the purple on the right. And that is important for creating this pattern where you flip it and it looks different. And this is a longer lanyard, so I gave it some short little tassels and I gave it a big key ring. So long it doesn't even fit in the frame. I have another wall or wave stitch, which is actually a 7x1, and I have an even bigger key ring. I found my old colored key rings that I got from Walmart one day, and this is one of them. And I picked this because this goes well with this. And this is a bit of a shorter one. My long piece was not as long as it probably should have been, so it made the lanyard shorter, but this is the length of a normal lanyard, honestly. It just looks shorter because it's fatter. And I gave it some slightly longer tassels just because it's shorter. And this actually fits my desktop for my computer, my Google home screen. So yeah, I loved the color scheme. I had that home screen for years and I never felt like changing it because it's just lovely, and I wanted to incorporate that into a lanyard because the color scheme is beautiful. So yeah, there's this, and you can see some of my stitches are tighter and looser than others, but that's okay. I don't have a personal problem with it. And last but not least, I have this excellent one. I'm actually going to zoom out a little so you can see. You can see here I use a toothpaste trace lace, as I like to call it. For this lanyard, I was heavily inspired by a lanyard that I saw in someone else's video. I think her channel is called Craft Nation, and she had some lanyards like this. She had a 7x1 wall, and she did some stitches and some corkscrews, and then put it back and do some corkscrews again, then some straight stitches again. And I like to do a regular finishing stitch for these, but I know she used like glue and stuff and beads. And I have a big key ring on it, and this one is red so it can fit the color more of the actual lanyard. And I think you can see it, like this white strip in the middle is actually like pink. I'm guessing it gets it from the orange. I guess it's a mistake, but it's not that deep to me. Yeah, this is a fatty. I love this one. I'm starting to do more wide projects like this. I'm looking forward to doing more. Alrighty, so that is it for this video. I hope you liked looking at these, and if these gave you some new ideas, go ahead and try them out with your own colors, of course. I'm sure you can come up with some cool color combos on your own. And all of these are for sale, by the way, except for this one. I already found someone who actually wants to buy this, so this won't be for sale, but I'll most likely be making more of these in the future anyway. So if you want any of these, DM me on Instagram and we can take it from there. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, hope these gave you new ideas, and for other ideas that I use to make these lanyards, I'll link those videos in the description so you can check them out too, and maybe you can get some other ideas from them that I haven't tried yet. So yeah, anyway, that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.